Good morning, dear students. I hope you all are fine and safe. Today, I want to teach English. So today what you are going to see here is, as we had finished the first term, all the 3 units in first term, we had finished. So from today onwards, we will be seeing second unit, term 2, prose 1. Understand? So I will just read out what is the lesson, what it says, what is the summary. I will just tell you everything now. So the lesson, term 2, unit 1, prose, adventures of Don Quick Start. Okay? Adventures of Don Quicksort. So here you have about the author. Who is the author here? I just want to say a brief about this author. It is very interesting. It is not an Indian story. It is out of India. It is not an Indian one, it is a foreign one. You will be so amazed to read about this author and how it is thrilling, like monster, funny filled. Understand? You will see everything now. So I just want you to look at the board now. So here about the author. About the author, what it says here is Adventures of Don Quixote. He is from Spain. He is a Spanish person. Okay. So he is from Spain. So he has written Spanish novel by Miguel de Cervantes. It was published in 2 parts. Okay, the first one was written in 1605. The other one was written in 1615. Don Quixote, mostly his literature is influential work of literature from Spanish Golden Age. So how in India we have Golden Age, So like that, this is a Spanish Golden Age one he has written or he has brought for 7th standard students. Best for the entire Spanish literary. The whole Spanish, the whole Spain people speaking, Spanish people speaking, this literary plays a very important role in their place. Understand? So now we see here, often it is called or it is labeled the first modern novel. For the entire written, whatever he had written, the best is known as, or it is labeled, or it is very well known as the first modern novel. So modern novel means it won't be like the olden one. Usually it will be very modernized one. How this generation people think about and how they live in a situation, regarding that this literary work is emphasized. So here, with this I just want to tell you about the author. Understand? So this is very important. So this author, he has written a story for us. So Adventures of Don Quixote. So here the summary says, or it goes one below the other. Okay, I will just read the textbook for you. You all have your textbook. You just turn to page number 83. We will read the lesson, and one by one what the summary I had written on the board for you, I will just go along with that. Okay. First we will read the lesson. Once upon a time in a village called La Mancha in Spain, there lived a man who loved to read about nights. See here, once upon a time, long, long ago, there lived a man, La Mancha. He was in Spain. Okay, he lived in Spain, this person, and he loved to read many books about the knights. Knights are what? About the soldiers. Okay, he loved to read about the books written about the soldiers, about the knights. That's what it says here. The first summary is, Don Quixote lived in a village called La Mancha in Spain. He loved to read books about courageous knights. Think, children, just see the board. Don Quixote loved to read about the courageous soldiers. Understand? He loved to read those books. Understand? Okay, now every day he would read about courageous knights and the incredible adventures they had. So he used to read all the courageous knights, courageous soldiers books you used to read. When he reads that, he gains incredible adventures he gets. That means what? Wonderful adventures, wonderful mysteries, wonderful things he used to gain out of reading those books, about the knights. He was so absorbed in these stories that he had hardly remembered to eat or sleep. Look at this person, this author, Don Quixote. What he does he loved reading. He was so absorbed. Have you seen the sponge? When you just, when there is water on the table, you take the sponge and you just put it on that or damp it on that. What happens? It absorbs the water. Like this person, this author, he loves reading these nights pictures, and he hardly remembers to eat or sleep. Most of the time what he used to do, read books about knights, read books about the soldiers, read and read and read and read. He used to do only reading part. So this took lot of his time rather than eating or sleeping. The days of nights and squires of exciting adventures and romances come alive in the hilarious account of Don Quixote travels. So here we see squires. Squires means what? Think they are soldiers. Knights also is a soldier. Squires also is a soldiers. So he is so excited about the adventures, how the romances take places, and how this hilarious, that means was extremely merry time. So his time was hilarious, extremely happy, extremely happy, merry, all this he had in him. Understand? By reading the books about the courageous knights. So as Years past, Don Quickstone imagines himself placed in the world of nights. See, as you are reading some books, you say, for some books you read, some story books. So you get into that picture of that character. You act according to that. Understand? For an example, when you see some wrestlings, John Cena you see. Okay, you see most of his series you see. What do? You just do all those actions with your mom, dad, your brother, your sister, or whoever, grandparents, whoever is at home, you try to do that. If you have a little brother or sister, what do? You just try to carry how he carries them and puts them on the floor, and how he does 1, 2, 3, you try to do that. So when you see that, you get into that atmosphere or into that character. Same thing when you read lot of books, definitely what happens, you get into those thoughts. For an example, you are playing PUBG game. What happens? Really, you get into that circle, and always your mind is filled with that. In the same way, this Don Quickstone, what he does is, as he's been reading lot of adventures about the knights, about the soldiers, his mind is fixed on that after some years. So when his mind is fixed on that, how he becomes? Naturally, he becomes that sort of character is developed, and he also becomes like one among those soldiers. Okay, so here we see he convinces Sancho Panza, a peasant from the same village, to be his squire. So that means what? He convinces, somehow he pacifies, somehow he makes him, okay, you have to, what you have to do? You have to get into that atmosphere, okay? So somehow he convinces that Sancho Panza means what? He is a peasant. Peasant means what? He is a poor farmer. So he makes him to become like him, understand? Like knights or like squim. So somehow or the other, with his character, with his adapting something new adventures of knights, he makes one in his village to become like him. Turn to the next page. Don sets on a journey in search of a squire. He met Sancho Panza. So what he does, this Don, what he does, he sets on a journey. How he will go on a journey? Definitely he has to go on a horse. In those days, no other vehicle. So naturally, if they had to go into some adventurous things, what he have to do is, he has to go on a journey on a horse. So to go on a horse journey, definitely he needed another person. That's why in his same village, he found out a farmer. His name is Sancho Panza. So he gets his company, and both of them met together, and they started on a journey. Okay. Sancho, how would you like to become my servant and accompany me on a great adventure? So Sancho, this farmer, he has some questions. This Don is asking, hey Sancho, farmer, how would you like to become my servant and accompany me to all the places wherever I am going for a great adventure? How will you come? How will you accompany me? So he says, now the Sancho is saying, your servant? You are calling me as a servant? I'm going to be your servant or what? Then he says, Sancho says, this Don says, what he says is, an island, you are serious. Before that, Don says, yes, if you serve me faithfully and honestly, I will reward you with an island. So Don says, Sancho, listen here. If you serve me faithfully and honest, you should be very honest and you should be very faithful. If you are like that, really, I will give you an island for you. So island means, imagine all four sides water, and little island means he can own that. How can this happen? So he's so puzzled. Sancho is puzzled. An island? Are you serious? Is your words really faithful? Is your words really have some meaning? What you are saying, what you are speaking is truth? What you are saying is correct? You are going to give me an island if I follow you to a great adventure? So he just asked a question. So next he says, yes, master, I will come. So he says, okay, I will come. Sancho says, definitely I'll come. I vow it to upon my honor as a knight, so I will come with you. So he says, okay, definitely I will come with you. As a soldier, I will come with you wherever you go to a great adventure. So now this Sancho and Don. Sancho is the servant, Don is the adventure. What he does is, both of them set together on a journey together. Both these two people set together and they go on a journey on a horse. Now where they are going is, they are going on the hill in front of them. There is a hill in front of them. They could see a large old windmill. When he saw it, Don, Quickstone eyes began to sparkle. So when they were on their horse and they were moving ahead, they could see a very big hill. Understand? So when they could see the very big, great, large hill, so in front of them this hill was there and they could see a large old windmill. For an example, when you go towards Pollachi side and all, Pollachi area, all those areas, you can see a great windmill. Understand? In television, TV also, you would have seen a great big windmill you would have seen. In windmill, you can find 4 blades. Understand? So those 4 blades are massive ones, very larger one. Understand? On the roads also sometimes you would have seen those blades carrying those trucks will be very long. Understand? It can block half of the road, I can say. So these 4 blades are like a huge one which is fixed to that old windmill. So when they saw, Don's eyes began to sparkle. That means what? Sometimes when you see something new, naturally your eyes starts to pop up or sparkle, or you just wide open your eyes. That's what happened here. So here, what look, Sancho, how dare that Hidages Orgas block our path. So before that we could see what this windmill looks like an orc. That means what? Like a monster, like something different. Have you seen the monster in the picture? You will have 4 hands. Understand? So you will have a very stout body, bloated up body with everywhere flesh. Understand? Big structure with 4 hands. The way he walks, It will be very scary. So he says, oh, this might be a monster. They are thinking this windmill is a monster. So it has 4 hands. It is not a monster. It is a windmill. So next you find here, I tell you these are Orgas. And if you are afraid of them, go aside and say your prayers while I engage them in combat. So that means what Don is saying, Sancho, if you are so scared about this, don't go near it. Understand? Stand there. Say your prayers unto God. So what will happen? When you say the prayers, that will encourage you. That will engage you also. Keep you in the presence of God, and it will fight against that windmill, against that monster. Next, master. That's a windmill. Sancho is saying, Don, master, that is not a org. It is a windmill. Don't you see it? You see properly. Then Don says, flew towards the windmill and collided with it. That means what? He went on the horse. Don went on the horse towards the windmill and collided with it. That means what? He hit that windmill, and what happened? He fell down. Prepare to face my spear or. So he says, oh, I am going to what? Use my spear. That means what? What he has in his hand, that spear, I am going to use that and kill that monster. Kill that orc, he says. Unfortunately, Sancho's shouts and warnings passed unheard. Don and Racinate charged the windmill at full speed. So unfortunately, whatever the Sancho was screaming, yelling, don't go with your spear there. You don't go, he was shouting. But this warnings and all, this Don did not hear. So he and his horse name is Racinate. Racinate is horse name. What he did is, he charged. That means what? He was in full swing, and he went and with the spear, he went and banged, hit on the windmill with a full speed. Then the Sancho is saying, Master, are you all right? See, I told you it was just a windmill. Did I not give you a fair warning? Sancho is saying, my goodness, I gave you the warning, sir. Master, I gave you the warning. Are you all right now? You fell down. Are you all right? Are you okay? Oh, it's just a windmill. Did I not tell you? I gave you a fair warning. I gave you in a polite warning. I said you in a polite words. That is a windmill. That is not org. That is not a monster. Why did you go and do this work and you have fallen down? Then next he says, you are absolutely right. You are a great knight indeed. And you have defeated the fearsome windmill beast. So he says, absolutely. This Don is saying to Sancho, the farmer, absolutely you are correct, man. You are a great indeed a knight. You are the soldier, and you have defeated the fearsome windmill beast. So you have made me to what? To defeat this fear what I had in my mind. Listen to me, Sancho. Now he is saying, Master is saying, Don is saying, listen to me, Sancho. Someday people will write a great exploits. Exploits means what? They will make a utilize of this. But we must prove worthy of that honor by vanquishing villains and upholding justice. Do you understand? So he says, some way or the other, we will conquer, we will defeat it thoroughly, and what will happen? We will uphold the justice. This what the villains understand, they do it. So we need to understand this. So in fact, the windmill was working perfectly fine. Sancho did his best to dissuade Don from attempting anything else reckless. That means what? In fact, the windmill was working perfectly all right. Sancho told me this is the windmill. Okay, but I was discouraged and attempting doing all sort of things with carelessness. So with this, one part is over. Understand? The other part you will read about the sheep, how there is a thick cloud, mist, and how it is thick cloud present there due to the sheep gazing. Understand? So now I want to read out the summary and then I want to read out the meanings. Understand? So first we saw in the summary, Don Quickstone lived in village called La Mancha in Spain. Next, he loved to read books about what? Knights and courageous knights. About courageous soldiers he loved to read. Then what he did? He imagined himself to be a courageous knight. When he started reading about the books about the knights, he turned to be a very courageous, brave soldier. Next, he convinced a poor farmer to be his squire. Sancho Panza, farmer, peasant, he convinced him to become his what? Squire means what? That means a knight. Then both of them, Don and San Pancho, what they did? They set on a journey and they moved together. Then they saw the windmill. They imagined it to be an org. That means a monster. Okay. This windmill had 4 blades. So those 4 blades were like a monster, had 4 hands and it looked like a big giant. Understand? But it was not at all that. It was a very old windmill they saw. So now you have glossary here. You have knights. Understand? First one is knights. A man who served his lord as a mounted soldier in armor. Incredible, unbelievable. Hilarious, assuming. Orgs, monster, giant. Combat, fighting between armed forces. Then states, horses that is ridden. So like this, you have your meanings here. So with this one part for today, I want to conclude. So you just read and write down all the points what I have given on the board for you and make use of it. So the next part we will see in the next class. Understand? So with this one part, I want to finish this today's class. Thank you, children.